The one small caveat to these weird questions is you can sometimes get an overlap between a weird and academic question. Again, it tends to be Oxford and Cambridge that prefer to go for those two questions at the same time, or those two types of questions at the same time. Again, the same principle applies to the academic questions that we mentioned earlier. You want to be confident with the information that you have. You want to do a good amount of research on your GCSE and A-level level science syllabus. And similar to the weird questions, you want to make sure that you're giving the question enough thought before you answer it, and answer with confidence, same as normal. So one example of a weird academic question that I have come across was for an Oxford medicine interview, and that was a situation where you have a very large swimming pool, so normal sized Olympic swimming pool, and then in there you have a boat, like a large, relatively good size, sort of 10-meter long boat within the swimming pool. And then on that boat is a large sort of 3-meter by 3-meter by 3-meter ice cube. And the person on the boat picks up the block of ice and throws it off the side of the boat. And the question is, what would happen to the water level in the swimming pool once the ice cube is moved from the boat into the water? So to answer this question properly, you need to start thinking about what it's trying to ask you, or what the principles are here. So you have an ice cube on a boat in water, and it's getting moved, and it's asking you what happens to that water level. So what affects that water level? Well, things going into water, if we threw in an elephant or 10 elephants into the water level, of course, the water level would increase. And if we took the boat and the ice cube out of the water, it would decrease because of displacement. So the more stuff that is in water, the higher the level. It would just move up because there's stuff in the swimming pool and the water can't go inside the stuff, so it has to go up, it has to increase the level. So you can feel free to pause the video now, just to, as a practice, and have a think about what you think your answer might be, and then I'll give you an example answer. Okay, so one example would be, right, so I understand that the ice cube is on top of the boat, which is in the water, and we're looking at what would happen if the ice cube was moved from the boat into the water, and how that would affect the water level. Well, I know that the boat and the ice cube will both be increasing the water level because of displacement. So the force that the ice cube is applying downwards through gravity would be would be increasing the amount of displacement of the water. So if the ice cube moved from the boat into the water, the level of the water would actually stay the same. Now, the reason for that would be that the ice cube is simply moving its displacement from the boat into the water, but it was still exhibiting an element of displacement while it was in the boat, because the boat was in the water and those two things together were still displacing the water. So the water level actually would stay exactly the same. So just to emphasize, that was an example question, and all of these questions, at least the academic and weird questions, they can come up in any interview. They tend to come up in Oxbridge interviews. And again, similar to the generically weird questions, if you've got an Oxbridge interview, then you want to be practicing these specific sort of academic and weird questions. You want to be deliberately going through a long list of sort of Oxbridge type questions that have that overlap between academia and weirdness, and sort of thinking through problems aloud. And the fundamental part of that is to, like we said previously, answer with confidence, have a good understanding of your A-level and GCSE level science syllabus, and to be okay sort of thinking aloud and having curveballs thrown at you. And as long as that happens, it should be absolutely fine.